I'm Drew.
And I'm John.
In today's roach-sized episode, we're reviewing Halloween Kills. This episode will have spoilers, but not right away. We're going to do a spoiler-free review and give our ratings before we get into the nitty-gritty, just in case anyone wants to know our thoughts without ruining the movie before they see it.
And just in case you're not familiar with the plot of Halloween Kills, it picks right up the same night from the 2018 Halloween. And the night isn't over with Michael. Minutes after Laurie Strode, played again by Jamie Lee Curtis, and her daughter Karen, played by Judy Greer, and granddaughter Allison, played by Andy Matichak, they left the masked monster Michael caged and burning in Laurie's basement. But we know the boogeyman's not going to die, so he escapes, and he's headed back home. And it is quite brutal on the way back home.
Dude, I'm smiling so hard right now. Like, I haven't been able to, honestly, I've been smiling since we saw the film. I was talking about it to people at work today. I was talking about it with my wife. I actually watched it a second time on Peacock. Movie theaters ain't going to get my money twice. They got it yesterday. Peacock's getting a rewatch.
I might at some point end up giving the theater my money again. But I had my third watch, and then I have other people I promised that I would watch Halloween with. So I still got to watch it with Jocelyn, and then I still got to watch it with my sister this weekend. So by Sunday, I'll be up to 5 views probably.
Remember when we did that in 2018 and like we had seen it like 6 times, but it was like theaters. It wasn't Peacock. It wasn't streaming.
We went hard.
There was an IMAX viewing in there, wasn't? I think there was an IMAX viewing in there. There was IMAX, basic, there was like 5 or 6 times. I don't even remember. I have my ticket stub somewhere still.
You remember I saw it twice opening night because I went with you. And Sam and Tim and Jocelyn went with us, and I watched it with them, and my sister and Malachi were coming to the next show, so I ended up seeing it back to back.
I thought it was the next night. I didn't know it was
the next show, and I watched it back to back.
Oh, that's great.
Even if I was like, even if this isn't going to be good, it's still Halloween. I'll watch it again.
Yeah, well,
as long as it ain't Rob Zombie.
Look, here's the deal. The original Halloween film is my favorite horror film of all time, as it is with John's. As it is with John, yeah. And there's nothing going to change that. And I'm not going to let, somebody's opinion of how I feel about the newer films reflect that. That seems to be going around lately. If you like the 2018 Halloween film, or if you like Halloween Kills, or even if you like Rob Zombie's Halloween films, like apparently, you're not a hardcore fan, or you're not a big fan of the originals. And it's like, that's really not the case. I know my history. John knows his history. Not everybody's a dum-dum who just doesn't agree with everybody's opinion. It's just the way it is. I'm going to say it. I fucking love this movie. I fucking love this movie. To me, I knew it was better than the 2018 film like 30 minutes in. I was fucking hooked.
I don't know. I kind of like the 2018 one a little bit better. And, I was thinking about this. And with the 2018 and now Halloween Kills, it almost kind of feels like the Star Wars sequels.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night. Yep.
With 2018, it felt like a fan service movie, and it almost followed the original, where The Force Awakens was almost basically like A New Hope. 2018 did that, but switched around stuff. Instead of Michael being outside the school, it's Laurie. And then Michael goes to look over the balcony instead of Loomis looking, and he's gone. Now he looks, Laurie's gone. And then the second one, it felt a lot like
it's the Empire Strikes Back of the Halloween series.
With Last Jedi. The ending of the movie makes you go, I don't know where they're going to go from here, but I'm interested to see how it's going to play out.
Right, but we had said actually yesterday after we had seen the film, I was talking to you about how this was Michael's movie. I had seen, I believe it was Jason Blum, and I think it was him who. Jason Blum or Blum. He said, that this was Michael's movie in the trilogy, and I had told you that, and you went, "Oh, so it's like the Empire." And I'm like, "That's pretty." That's what I was saying.
Except it's a guy in a William Shatner mask and a knife just stabbing his way through a town.
Right. This is the Empire Strikes Back of this new Halloween trilogy. This is Michael's movie. This movie is relentless. And Michael Myers is more pissed off and brutal than we have ever seen him.
I would agree 100%. The kills are amazing. They're well done. And Michael just comes off as just angry as fuck.
Yeah, and it's funny because you know, watching the movie, I was legit actually creeped out, and it's the first time, like, I think since the original, maybe since Halloween 2, that I think Michael's actually been scary. And I don't really think that it was the gore, because the kills are very gory and brutal. It was more like his relentless. The camera was on him a lot, and you just see how fucking ruthless and relentless he is. And he, it's like that to me was just like he's just like, I don't know. There was actually a point in the movie when I'm looking at him and I'm actually thinking, like, I'm not really looking at him like a man. There's a scene in the film when he is stalking someone, and I actually was like scared for the other person, and that usually does not happen in a Michael film. And I thought, I'm like, damn, I'm not even kind of looking at him like a dude in a mask right now. It's just more like this like entity, like they really brought back the shape, and I fucking love that.
And we've met James Drew Courtney, and it still creeped us out. We've met the man,
and he's nice as hell. The dude is a class act. He really is.
I meant to ask something. This is, it doesn't ruin anything. It's from 2018 with the bus chase. There's a TV broadcast talking about the other mental patients. Mm-hmm. We see the one with like the long hair from 2018. The older guy, yeah. He kind of had the
got the Danny DeVito penguin look going on.
That and I was gonna say the Lars Ulrich skullet.
Yeah, you dropped skullet on me.
Anyway, the second picture is blurred out on the TV. Mm-hmm. Did that not look like James Drew Courtney?
Yeah, it was. Just like in the 2018 film, how they kind of avoided showing his face, even in like the TV screen.
Yeah, like it goes blurry, and I'm like, that looks like
it shows the guy, the other mental patient, for like half a second before it goes blurry, and then focuses on people in the bar. And then as it's blurry, you see the picture changes. But like I said, they never showed his face in the original, or not in the original, in the 2018, in the first one. They never showed his face, even like from the side. When the reporters are there at the beginning, the podcasters,
like a little bit from the side. You kind of just saw his messed up eye.
It was like a side boob shot
of his like fucked up eye.
but yeah, so that was kind of I thought that was on purpose. They wanted to keep his appearance secret.
Yeah, and the other thing is I found very interesting, a little knowledge nugget for y'all. Jamie Lee Curtis reprised her role as Laurie Strode for the 6th time. In doing so, she actually surpasses Donald Pleasance for the most appearances in the series. And she's also played Laurie in 6 different decades now.
Yeah, that's wild. That's absolutely
wild.
And
it's crazy because Donald Pleasance, you just think about like he never left Halloween until literally he died.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's been how many times they've had to, like, beg Jamie Lee to come back? And she ended up surpassing it. Like, even with, like, what was it? After H2O, and they made Resurrection, she was like, just kill me. I'm done with this shit. And then she's back for 3 more later on.
Yeah, she ended up coming back. And then, yeah, that's absolutely wild. But, that actually brings to mind when I had that little book. I don't even remember what the name of the book was. It was about the Halloween series, and I had let you borrow it. And it was they had mentioned in the book something that I had never thought of, was how like Dr. Loomis is basically like died and come back into the series just as many times as Michael has. When you think about it, he dies in part 2, he blows up in the fire, right? But then he's back in part 4.
He's fine in that one.
Well, yeah.
And then in 5, he has the heart attack.
He has the heart attack.
And 6,
and then in 6, he's just back.
It depends.
He's just back in 6. Like, he's like,
Well, I would say the theatrical cut implies he dies because you hear the screaming. Where the producer's cut, he's now inflicted with the curse of Thorn.
Well, no, I'm saying he died. He's back in the 6th one. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And then I was saying in the 6th one, he also dies in like the theatrical one.
Correct. Yeah, it ends with that, with him like screaming. Yeah, but it doesn't even sound like it's like something that they recently recorded. It sounds. I don't know if it was.
It's from the producer's cut when he grabs his arm. And he says it's your game
they just
now.
Used the audio. You're
and he
right.
Starts,
You're right. I've only seen that producer's cut like once or twice with you, and I've never touched it again. So
that's the scream from when the curse is passed on to him, and Wynn says it's your game now.
I guess that's one benefit to you watching that movie more times than me. I guess
I don't know if that's a benefit
I don't,
for anybody.
I tended to scrub my mind clean of it, but you know,
It's so bad. It's so bad, but it's weird. I'll get the urge to watch that more than 5 or Resurrection. It's just bad. But I think it's because I also feel like Michael is well done in Curse. Like as being scary. I like the mask. The whole story around it's just flat out horrible. But I like some things about 6, not a lot.
yeah, I'm not. 6 is the worst in the series.
But we don't need
for
to
me.
keep talking about that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. 6 was the worst in the series for me. Back to Halloween Kills. Here's another Here's another knowledge nugget for you. The film was shot digitally, so like film grains were used to create the flashback scene so that it actually looked like grainy and old school and not digital and clean.
I want to talk about the flashbacks. For the most part, those 78 flashbacks look good. Like, holy shit, with the Shapes mask, it looked like he just came right out of the 1978 one. Like, they did an amazing job. Loomis looked okay. The voice, I was not a big fan of. I thought it was a little off. But the other thing is they paid attention to, like, the small shit. When Michael comes out of the house, like, there's the Strode Realty sign. Like, they have that in the yard. And the other thing with 78 flashbacks I like is Carpenter, with his music, left it unchanged, kept the same music from the 78
Correct.
one, which, I mean, it is his baby, so he's going to love it. Where I feel like a lot of other composers that might have scored it would have been like, just slap the remix on it. Just go ahead and slap that back to those scenes. But I feel like it really made you feel like you were back watching like something that you didn't see from 78.
I agree, and it's funny that you brought the mask up because I have this magazine back from 2018 called Prosthetics Magazine, and the magazine cover is the 2018 Michael Myers mask, and the whole article, the main article, is with the makeup effects guy, Christopher Nelson, and it goes into how he basically made several masks of the 78 mask that like were like absolute perfect reproductions. Like no one had ever made them as close to the original as he did. Like not even close. Like people were like baffled by how amazingly accurate these masks were. And they were intended for flashback scenes in 2018 and never made it. So there was something in the article where he said something like maybe he'll end up donating them to putting them on eBay and then donating the money to charity or something. So like that made me really fucking happy to see like they like not that they didn't go to charity, God forbid, but the fact that they got used. We finally got to see it and they nailed it.
They look legitimate.
Yeah, like that mask is incredible. Like that looked just like
it put a smile on my face just seeing it.
Dude, just yeah, like absolutely, just seeing him and like that really felt like Michael from 78, like 100%.
I will say, totally unrelated to that, but a pet peeve of mine I pointed out to Nicole from this movie, and it's in general with horror, but I just noticed it so many times in this movie, is why is it when somebody goes to check on a dead body, they put their weapon down? Like, clearly, you gotta think in the back of your mind, Michael's around here somewhere. I need to be ready to defend myself. No, I'll just put it on the ground to check on this person. Like, that shit just annoys me.
Right. What'd you think of Tommy Doyle, of Anthony Michael Hall's Tommy Doyle?
I really would have liked if they could have got Paul Rudd back. I thought he didn't do a bad job in Curse, but I thought he did a good job. It's kind of how I imagined Tommy would be. Like, I love the scene with him going to Lori. Mm-hmm. I guess that's kind of a spoiler, but I mean, you'll see it. I mean, it definitely felt like a nostalgia kick.
Yeah, yeah.
Like how many old Halloween actors can we throw into this movie?
Yeah, and but I liked how they brought a lot of the 2018 cast back as well, like the doctor and the nurse.
Yes,
and something that I really like, I thought that Anthony Michael Hall did a great job as Tommy Doyle. Actually, I haven't seen anything that he's done in a long time, honestly. And to see him on screen, I'm not gonna lie, to see him on screen, I was kind of worried. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go, and he was actually pretty convincing. Usually in those types of roles, when you have that person who's trying to be the hero who like gathers lynch mobs, in my back of my mind, I'm kind of laughing at him like, this little bitch, I wouldn't fucking join your team. But him, I was like, he was actually like, I felt the conviction you know what I mean, in his character. And I was I was like, holy shit, like he actually convinced me. I was like, I actually thought like, yeah, if I lived in Haddonfield, I'd probably fucking rally with this guy. I'd probably be part of that lynch mob. Like normally when I watch movies, I'm against that guy because I'm like, they're a douche. I don't, I would, but like, no, like he actually, I thought he did a really good job. Like I really liked his character. And I thought that he did a good job.
Yeah, I don't think I really got anything else to say before we get into spoilers. I don't know if you got anything else.
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay.
I wanted to go back because you had mentioned the flashback scene, and I did want to say that I really liked the scene with Loomis. Loomis is in the trailer, so it's not really giving too much away before we get into spoilers. But that was one of the things, like you had mentioned the voice of Loomis and everything.
Yeah, it was just came off like just a little off to me.
Yeah, and it's like I agree about the voice. The voice wasn't there, but like the visual, I didn't mind. I thought that like
It was close enough.
It kind of made me smile. I was like, oh my god, like it was total surprise.
I think he looked a little fatter in the face than Donald Pleasance was.
Yeah.
His face just looked a little wider in general, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't anything that like. I mean, I could tell it wasn't Loomis, obviously, but it didn't necessarily take me out of the movie.
Right, and they didn't beat you over the head with it and make him star in the film.
It was just there where it needed to be.
It was just there for the few little insert shots not even whatever, but the few little shots that needed to put that like compilation of scenes together of Michael getting caught, basically. Yeah, like when I saw him, I was like, oh my god, like I was like, Loomis is in this, holy shit, like, and that was just another, you're getting, anybody who's a fan of the original 1978 Halloween, whether you like the entire Halloween Kills or not, I feel that you are going to absolutely love the first 20 minutes of it. And I think that I'm about done with what I wanted to say, if you're ready to get into spoilers.
Well, I was going to say one last thing.
It's your turn.
Yeah, I was done, but it made me think of something. Speaking of Loomis and flashbacks, I mean, it's in the trailer, but as Laurie's headed, well, I guess as the fire department's headed towards Laurie's house and she's leaving, she's yelling, "Let it burn." That was actually a deleted scene in Halloween 4. In Halloween 4, there was a flashback scene to Halloween 2 with Loomis yelling to the paramedics, "Let them burn," after he blew up the operating room, which I still want to see that deleted scene because I want to know how the hell Loomis got out to get to the paramedics when the last thing I see him in is Michael's come out of the room. He's still in there.
Yeah, I mean, look, he should have been even more charred than what we see of him in Halloween 4. Loomis was in the room with him. Loomis, if Michael was dead, Loomis was dead, but somehow he comes out of it with, he's like, I mean, in Halloween 4, he's pretty messed up, and then in Halloween 5, he's just like, oh, I got a little like patch on my cheek.
He said he got skin grafts.
He's like, I got a little scar tissue on my cheek.
But before we get into spoilers here, we'll go ahead and give it a rating here. What I saw on Rotten Tomatoes is last night when we left the theaters, I checked, and it was at a 53% with critics. Today, just before I got here and we recorded, it's down to a 41% with critics. But on the other side, it has a 76% with the audience. And I would have to say that's about pretty much where I am. Out of 10, I would give it a 7.6. That seems like a fair score.
Oh, you're going with the 0.6.
0.6, that's a professional score.
What you were saying about the score, about the score, it seems to make sense because a lot of people, fans of the series, did not like Halloween 2018. I still see so many people shitting all over it everywhere, on every social media platform, but the critics liked it. And it's like, since when are critics supposed to like a slasher film? You know what I mean? And you and I didn't even like it the first time we saw it. I
liked it, but I had, I told you that, and it still annoys the shit out of me, is Dr. Sartain stabbing Hawkins. It still bothers me. The whole rest of the movie I absolutely love for the most part. I mean, there's some comedy, it's just kind of
Some dialogue that's kind of iffy.
And it's funny because I remember thinking with 2018, I was like, I don't necessarily like the teenage kid scene so much at the beginning, but then I was like, that's literally what the original was so far. I can't be mad at it.
Yeah, and no, I liked the 2018 one as well. But like we both walked away disappointed at first viewing, and my disappointment wasn't the Dr. Sartain thing. My disappointment was I felt that they humanized Michael too much, which I was very pleased to see that they undid that for this one. he's very much the Shape again, which I did. I mean, I liked him in 2018, but I did not feel that he was the Shape in 2018. And in this one, he is definitely the fucking Shape again. But yeah, and now here it is with this film, Halloween Kills. The critics are bombing it, giving it like a 41. Meanwhile, the fans are liking it. So it's like, here's one where the fans seem to be actually pleased and the critics aren't. So it's a trade-off. You get, the critics either like it and the fans don't, or the fans like it and the critics don't. Look, critics are like, there's a lot of critics out there, but not nearly as many critics as fans. These movies are made for fans. So the fans' opinions are whose matter, or whose opinions. The fans' opinions are whose opinions matter, in my opinion.
I mean,
there's a lot of opinions right there.
they're the ones paying for it, but out of 10, what would you give it?
Yeah, out of 10, 8.
That's fair. And I will admit, after my first viewing last night, I felt a little underwhelmed since I watched it 2 more times. It's kind of like the 2018 one. It grew on me. I think it's the problem I had with going back to the Star Wars reference, The Last Jedi. I had my expectations going into the film. I'd say I had less expectations going into this, but I feel like I was expecting too much, and then especially on the third watch through, I just kind of let the movie play out, and it was better than I originally graded. I probably would have gave it like around the 7 before that.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I think we should get into talking about spoilers if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So for those of you listening, thank you for listening. I give the movie an 8 out of 10, and John gave the film a 7.6 out of 10 with his technical ass. So for those of you who have not seen the film, if you don't want to know the nitty gritty, the kills, the spoils, turn us off. Turn it off and go about your day. We are about to talk about the good stuff. For those of you who want to know about the stuff, those of you who have already seen the film, those of you who just don't give a shit, cool. Keep listening because we're about to talk about the good shit.
Yeah, we're about to spoil a lot of stuff.
Yeah. All right, John, you go. What do you want to start with?
I'm going to start with a complaint, but
okay.
I feel like I gave a lot of praise before we got to this, and I understand the point of it as well, but it felt like Laurie was a sideline character in the movie, which is funny because I saw that this is actually the only Halloween film in which Laurie never shares a scene with Michael. I mean, it makes sense why she's sidelined, but it just kind of felt like we have 3 films, so Laurie's just going to kind of take 2 off. She's just going to lay in bed and talk to Hawkins, who somehow survived. I don't know how he survived that. Nicole was like, well, it depends where he got stabbed in the neck. I said he was spurting blood out of his neck. I don't know how he
was laying there for a while, too, man.
I could even argue that Cameron came along maybe like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but he just got there. It took him forever to get a hold of his dad. Like, I don't know how Hawkins survived that, but again, it's a Halloween movie, so I can't get that mad. And I was upset when they killed Hawkins. Well,
when you thought they killed him
in 2018.
Yeah, so I've seen Halloween 2018 probably around 20 times now, and I could swear. And if I'm wrong, I know people listening, you can write in and call me names and tell me I'm a dumbass and I don't know anything, whatever. But I could swear that Dr. Sartain ran him over. After, I could swear that he fucking ran him over, and he
didn't run over his head, but he just straight up ran over that guy. I
and
about that.
Nothing about that's mentioned. It's just a little
I still remember
and it's just a bandage on his neck. So to me, I was like, what was the other injuries? Did he really get run over with no bruises?
No, he good.
So that was kind of something for me.
Sheriff Hawkins, motherfucker.
So that kind of raised a question in my mind. Was okay, you're focusing on the throat injury, but what about getting ran the fuck over?
Hawkins got that throat injury.
But yeah, so the movie goes from we see that Hawkins survives, barely, and then we get into where Michael is, and honestly, this shit had me laughing, man, because when we knew they were going to do a sequel to the 2018 Halloween, we were like, how did he survive the fire? His mask is probably going to be melted to his face. And we were right. His mask is melted to his face. I think everybody thought that. But the whole thing was like, how did he get out of the basement? How does he survive? And then when you see the movie and you see that he's in the fucking locker, like with the garage door that Laurie hides her guns in, that's where he's fucking hiding to avoid being burnt. Nobody, when everybody talked about that movie and how he could have survived, nobody fucking said that. And when I saw that garage door slide open, I was like, oh my fucking God, that was genius. Like that's perfect.
And Nicole brought up a good point though, is when he comes out of the house, she's like, how'd he get out of the basement? I just said he's strong as fuck.
Just pulled himself up, yeah.
I mean, it's not canon, but he was doing that one arm like pull ups and H2O off the pipe.
I mean, that's true, yeah. He and he's definitely strong as shit in this one. He's just a brute force. But
dude, the kill with the gay couple, Little John and Big John.
I love that couple, man. They were like
walking through the hallway and he's like, Little John, Big John.
Yep, like Marco Polo, yeah. And the way that Big John like rounds the corner holding the knife, like we both busted.
It's like he stabs forward with that like paring knife.
Yeah. I thought that Scott MacArthur and Michael McDonald did great jobs. It was great seeing Stuart, look what I can do. Stuart was, and when he actually is like Michael's in their house.
Well,
it's Michael's house. It's Michael's house. This gay couple, Big John and Little John, live in Michael's house. Michael comes home. And one of the funniest things in the movie, and I even laughed a second time today when I rewatched the movie on Peacock, is when Little John, played by Michael McDonald, he is walking through the house trying to like find Michael, and he's scared as shit. He actually crosses a mirror and like jumps at his own reflection.
I laughed at that when I was watching it with Nicole, and I told Nicole, I'm like, would that be you? She's like, if I was in that situation, yeah, that's probably what would happen. I'd probably scare myself.
If I was in that situation, I'd have gotten in my car and went somewhere the fuck else.
Dude, I'm with the doctor. Well, he's actually a nurse, but for Halloween, he's a doctor. Where his wife is like, that's Michael Myers in the car. She was like, go over there. He's like, no. I was like, that'd be
right.
me.
Well, actually, speaking of that couple, he tries to strangle Michael with a stethoscope. And that's actually a nod to Halloween 2 when Michael strangled Bud with a stethoscope. So there's another knowledge nugget for you.
Yeah, and I could have swore I interpreted in 2018 that they were Julian's parents.
That's what I thought.
And then when he said it's that little asshole kid across the street, I was like, I could have like Nicole thought the same thing. I thought from the original it was being implied that was his parents leaving for the evening. But I mean, I don't guess
that's what
not.
I thought as well. That's
what
I thought.
Yeah. And how about our dude Julian getting a fucking TV cameo?
I know, right? Yeah. And you could tell he got older too. You could tell.
Yeah.
You could definitely tell he was a little older.
But I saw how they tried to like shoot it at an angle.
Yep. he had like a lei around his neck, or it was like, I don't know. It looked like a lei, like a lion lei.
It's been, well, I guess they delayed it a year. I mean, but it was like what, a year and a half between filming. But he was like, she was my bestest babysitter.
Well, here's something that I wanted to bring up. This actually isn't so much of a spoiler as much. I guess it's not as big of a spoiler as it could be, because like they gave this away in one of the 2 or 3 like extended trailers that there was of this movie that gave out like a ton of scenes. But the scene where Michael breaks into the house of the interracial older couple. The couple with the
comedian is Lenny Bruce.
Yeah, I think.
Dude, you can always just tell him by his voice, like.
Yeah, well, that whole like that scene. Here's what got me. When Michael, in the trailer, you see that Michael kills them. But when you watch the movie, you obviously see it in like more detailed fashion than what they show in the trailer.
Worse.
And no, the part where his wife is laying there after she'd been stabbed in the throat with a fucking tube light, with a what would you fluorescent? Yeah, one of those fluorescent tube lights.
Michael fucking busted it and just walked over and just stabbed her in the fucking
and the noise, the sound effects of it, like her blood like dripping out of the fucking. And then he just
drops it and it shatters.
And well, like after like he off screen, you hear Michael doing something with the old man. And like you just hear like him dragging, like a dragging noise, and like grunting, and the old man's like grunting for help, but his throat's like fucked up from glass being in it. So like, and I actually thought to myself, oh God, what's Michael doing to him? Like that dread. I actually felt dread where I was like, I don't even want to know right now what's happening. I cannot pinpoint to you another time that I have like been scared like that for a victim of Michael since like the original Halloween, where I've actually been like, oh god, like what's gonna happen? Like I don't even want to know. Like what? I'm always about like, oh shit, it's Michael. You know, like to actually be like that goes to show how violent and brutal he is in this movie, and how just scary he is, that he's taking things so far that even for me, I'm like, oh god, like how far is this gonna go? And definitely the scariest Michael I think since the original.
He used him as a human pincushion, basically.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question, because we both saw it in theaters, we both saw it in Peacock. When I was watching it on Peacock today, when Michael was, he ends up laying him over the like kitchen counter and just turns, grabs a knife, puts it in his bag, grabs a knife. It looked blurry on Peacock, Michael, but if I remember in the theater, like Michael came in clear.
I thought it was blurry in the theater.
Okay, maybe
yeah.
I'm...
But I was actually going to bring that up because that was something else. Was 2018 Halloween brought back Michael doing tricks with the bodies. Remember you and I had discussed that before, where like Halloween 2 and 4 and 5 and 6, Michael just kind of continues his path of being a killer, but he never like sets the bodies up like he did in the original. And like, thank Christ they brought it back in 2018 where he was doing that again. So in this one, obviously, Halloween Kills, he's doing it again. You know, he's displaying the bodies again in a more violent fashion, grisly fashion. But not only is he, you know, displaying the bodies, but we actually get to see him do it. Like when he's killing the old man and stabbing him in the back, we always come in after the bodies have been set up. We never see what he's doing to the bodies as he's doing it. And like that's what I thought was kind of interesting about how it was blurry, was like you're watching him methodically. Like you saw, he was not just stabbing this old man in the back. He stabs him in the back, stares at it. He's got his hands out in front of him almost as if he's excited. And he turns and he looks at the knife block and he grabs another knife, and then he stares at his back for a second, and then he stabs him. And then he stands in the position again with his hands in front of him like he's excited, and he looks, and then he grabs another knife. And I'm like, you actually see he's like, he in his mind, he's actually like, you don't know what he's thinking, but he's doing something. He's actually like, that's him making his art, so to speak.
Yeah, like how he set up the bodies on the merry-go-round.
Yeah, yep.
And like stuff like that.
And hung Miriam from the fucking swing set.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
What a brutal way for her to die, dude. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, that... Okay. First she fucked up because she shot out every fucking window, like... Yeah, okay. Let's talk
true.
about...
Wasted her fucking ammo.
Let's talk about... Dude, everybody in the theater, when she was like, this is for Dr. Loomis... And then she pulls the gun and it just goes click. Everybody went, oh.
Yeah, everybody in the theater, yes, it was audible. Everyone went, oh. And, it's like Michael stabs her several times and she goes out in such a brutal way. And you're just like, damn, that's how she goes out. And then, as we just said, a few moments later, she's discovered wearing the witch mask from the Halloween 3, one of the children that was wearing a Halloween 3 mask of the witch. Miriam is now wearing that and is basically noosed with the chain of a swing from a swing set. She's just hanging from a swing set. And it's just, what a brutal and heartless fashion for an OG of the original to go out. Like, I thought she would have had more fight. And I'm not disappointed. It's just like, damn, like that was harsh. Like, she went out hard.
And then the nurse-doctor-nurse combo got the other two masks from Halloween 3.
Yeah, and they died brutal. Well, he died brutally. She died from being a dumb bitch.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest.
It's funny. When she starts shooting and walks her way over, I told Nicole, I said, this is you if you were in this situation. When he fucking, what the fuck, zombie lander and hit her with the door, and the guy comes around and blows her face off. Nicole went, yeah, that'd probably be me.
Yeah, and it's like Michael just killed her so effortlessly. It was just like, goddamn, like, and so I can't say that her death was kind of like, damn, like you're an idiot, you know. Everybody else actually put up a fight. She actually fucking ran, was the only one that got away, and then came back to die like a dumbass.
I have to say, we were talking about them bringing back some of the OGs. In a way, it felt like they almost just brought them back to be a body count. Like
I can understand that. I definitely can understand that. But like I said, I thought
the only
it was
one
more
that survived was Lindsay, little Lindsay Wallace.
Yeah, but I thought that it was more about combining the cast of what they've started in 2018 with the remaining cast that they're trying, and the characters that they're recasting even from the original. That was like, I could see what you're saying about them being a body count there for the sake of being a body count. That makes total sense. But to me, I thought it was more about like, I think it's kind of a double. It's kind of like, let's put them together so we can kind of take the old Halloween fans with the new Halloween fans and Halloween film and combine them. We got people from the original. We got the people that were in the 2018 one. It's a whole family now.
So Star Wars sequels again?
More body. So yeah. So with that comes an extra body count. With that comes more
But I
expendable
mean, like,
people.
they literally killed all of them. Except Lindsay.
And that was something that I was gonna say to you, was like, Michael doesn't even fucking kill one-on-one in this movie. He is killing groups of people.
Bruce Lee and motherfuckers.
Dude, he comes out of his house and kills a fucking group of firefighters. Okay, then in that scene,
Did you sign that petition?
No, and that scene with in Lindsay Wallace's car, he wipes out a car full of people. He's not just like one-on-one coming after you. Like, he is wiping out groups of people at a time, and it is brutal. And it's like, we have never seen Michael like this before.
Way more angry.
It's like he had so much. He was so methodical and just so brutal, and just taking out groups of people, and playing with them, like jumping on the roof of the car, like he did in the '78 one. Like, come on, dude! Like, you're an old ass man. You're still playing these same tricks.
Yeah, did you see him jump off when he just chopped off the side?
Yeah, just limber as fuck.
And I gotta say, you're talking about worried for people. I felt that way for Lindsay when she was running and Michael was chasing her, like, and he's looking around. I'm like, don't fucking find her. Don't fucking find her.
Well, I was expecting him to pop out from one of the trees. I was expecting her to like run and hide behind a tree, and he was going to be like right behind her.
I'm glad they didn't go that route.
Me too.
That's where I thought it was, and I was like, oh, that's cliche.
But speaking of that scene, it's literally right when he's attacking her. It's after everyone else is dead. The cop, the nurse, Miriam. It's when he's fighting Lindsay and she hits him with the bricks. She puts bricks in the pillowcase and fucking smacks him with the bricks a couple times.
Because when all that shit was going down, she dumped out those kids' candy and started filling it with bricks. And I was like, she's listening to what Tommy said.
You're thinking, damn, she got a lot of
willpower.
You gotta surprise
him. She fucking whopped him with like 2 big swings, and then I mean, he looked like Tyson Fury out there, just ate that shit and kept coming at her.
Yeah, she put the bricks in the pillowcase, and I know you're over there thinking, damn, that's a lot of willpower to dump out that candy and leave it though. But she fucking swapped his ass with the fucking bricks in this pillowcase or in this candy sack like 2-3 times, and it's right at that exact moment when he starts fighting her back and grabs her and starts choking her that my favorite musical piece in the score kicks on. It's just like this, like do 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 do, and I that probably sounds ridiculous, but when you see the movie, you'll understand that shit was straight creepy. Again, with like this movie being a bit more creepy than the others, the music in 2018 was fucking awesome. Everything that John Carpenter composes is good. I don't dislike, I think, anything I've ever heard him do, but I can't say that anything has scared me besides creeping me out with the original Halloween theme and maybe some other musical pieces from that film. But in this one, that music when he's choking Lindsay before she escapes his grasp by pulling his mask off, like that music, it's just so chilling. It's so cold sounding, and just like and then like it kind of dies out as he's chasing her through the woods, but and it becomes more of like a pulse or a heartbeat. But that music, when you hear it right away, it's just creepy as hell.
Yeah. I mean, Carpenter, anything he does is usually good. And like I said, I can't think of any score. I can think of movies he's done that I didn't necessarily like, but the music's always been amazing in them. How I said I didn't like the Dr. Sartain scene in 2018. If I had to pick one that I really didn't like from this one, and I don't think it bothered me on the same level as the Sartain, I get the whole idea of trying to show how Michael's put fear into this town, and they wanted to show, like, how his fears infected this town, and they're going after the mental patient that they think's Michael. Why, Judy Greer, I don't know why I can't think of her character.
Karen.
Thank you. Fucking Karen, that should be easy to remember, but anyway.
Because she is a Karen.
Yeah. But like how she's trying to stop them from killing him, I get the point of why that's in the movie. It just felt too long. It felt like too long of a scene. I mean, it probably isn't that long, but it just felt drug out. And it goes back to the one point you told me where you said there was one point where you felt man, we haven't seen Michael in a while. And it's in that part with with them chasing the mental patient.
Yeah.
They kind of did something similar in Halloween 4, but they did it much quicker when they killed Ted Hollister. And I feel like you kind of got that point. I just thought, I mean, I think in that respect, Halloween 4 did the better job with it. But that was really just the one thing that I guess I would say if I had to pick something that bothered me the most, that would be it.
Yeah, like you had just said, mine would be that I feel that at about the 55-minute, no, it's before that, probably about the 35, 40, probably about the 40-minute mark in the movie, there's a lull of about 15, 20, 25 minutes of, like you just said, just the characters, the mental patient, the hospital scene, and like the movie otherwise has a very good pace. But in a Michael Myers film, that is, imagine being in a Godzilla film, watching a Godzilla film, I mean, and people complain about human interaction as is. Imagine sitting through 30 minutes of human dialogue with no Godzilla at all, not even in the background doing shit. That would get complaints. So yeah, in a Michael film, like, even if it wasn't like him being there, even if it was like cut back real quick to show you that he's on his way there, just walking down the street and then back, there's just no Michael.
They even did that in Halloween 2 when he went to the hospital. They would just
the
show like
boombox drawn, yeah, where the dude has
well, I
the
was going to say
boombox.
that, or even in the hospital, you would just see him on like a closed circuit TV real quick.
Correct, and yeah, there's just no talk of Michael, no seeing of Michael. Well, not no talk. There's nothing but talk of Michael, but he's not on screen for a while, and that was my biggest qualm of the film, is I felt that it slowed it down because like the whole point of the movie is you want to just watch Michael.
Yeah, and see, like even with the original one, Michael's not in it as much as you think. But I feel like with this movie, early on, they established that Michael's, like, every scene was Michael.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say every scene, but at the very least, every other scene you're seeing something with Michael, and they established that you're seeing him a lot in this movie, and then it just
drops
just
off.
a period.
Yeah. And
I get it. Evil dies tonight, okay? You don't have to repeat it 80 times in the movie. I get it.
Well, yeah. Well, also something I want to bring up though is Hawkins' backstory. Now that we're in the spoiler section, the whole thing, like they're building on Hawkins, his character, and by going back and showing him as a rookie, on the night Halloween night 1978, when Michael Myers was caught, and they show you how he came face to face with Michael, with another police officer, and Michael basically is choking the other cop and holding the cop in front of himself so Hawkins cannot shoot him, making his partner basically be his shield. And Hawkins takes a risky shot and shoots his partner in the throat and kills him. So because of that, Hawkins is the reason that Loomis doesn't kill Michael. I believe it's Halloween 2, correct? When yes, it has to be. Yes, it's Halloween 2 when Loomis says to Brackett, your men should have let me kill Michael that night, or something along those lines. And it kind of goes into that. It shows how Hawkins is the one that stops Loomis from killing Michael because he was feeling guilt from killing his partner, and now he regrets doing that. So now it's like they're trying to make it so I think Hawkins has this role to play in the third film where he's going to end up teaming up with Laurie because he said, I got to be the one to take him out. And then she literally says the same thing, and they're both in the same hospital room. They're both hurt. So I'm like, this third one's going to be like a bunch of old, look, I'm going to say it's going to be a bunch of old hurt geezers tracking down an old hurt geezer.
Included Michael in this.
An old supernatural geezer.
Yeah, the Hawkins thing was interesting. They did cover it up for him and said that he changed the guns with his the guy he was with that night, to say that he was trying to shoot Michael and it went off when he was being choked.
What was it his lieutenant said? Not all good intentions end the right way, or end the way they should, or something like that. Yeah.
But going back to Brackett, dude, it put a smile on my face when they formed that circle to beat the dog shit out of Michael. And he goes, it's Halloween. Everyone's entitled to one good scare when he's talking to Michael. And I was like, damn, that just brought a smile on my face.
Yeah, that was cool. It was almost like, I feel like it was almost cheesy. I feel that if it were people who haven't grown up with the series and they watch that line could be out of place. But for those who know what the initiated, that put a smile on our faces. You're 100% correct.
I mean, I don't want to sound mean, but Charlie Cyphers did not look the greatest. But I'm still excited to have him back.
It was great
sheriff.
seeing him, absolutely, man.
Former Sheriff Brackett. He's working hospital security. And I like how Trying to think of the other cop with the cowboy hat. I'm trying to think of what role he is. I think he's like state police or something.
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm sure I'm messing it up. But when he tells Brackett he's not the sheriff anymore. Nobody gives a shit and just follows Brackett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and well, I was just gonna say though, again with Hawkins being a rookie though on that night, imagine being a fucking rookie and they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna help us track down and hunt Michael Myers. I'm calling the fuck out sick. I'm calling out sick.
Well, see, at that point, I was like, damn, they're really just splitting up like that. But if you think about it, back in '78, they don't necessarily know. There's still a mythology to Michael because of what he did at 6, but people don't really. This is like the first interaction with him since that time. So, I mean, I could see how they think just shooting him would take him out.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
But that circle at the end, man, they beat his fucking ass.
Yeah, they do. They beat his ass. And that, to me, was... I started to get a little upset because I was like, not another Halloween movie where it's going to... The last one ended with him on fire. I was like, please don't end with him getting fucking hopped like this and just, like, getting jumped. And
He getting Paul Rudd, dog.
And then it was just, you know... But before we get to like, the ending and all that, though, I want to say that honestly, everything that they added to Michael's mythos, I loved. I don't feel that anything that they added to his... Because the thing was they're not going back and changing anything. They didn't... Well, yeah, see, even with like the ending of the original Halloween, they didn't really change anything by saying he got caught. They're kind of filling in a gap that you don't see. Like the original still happened exactly as it did. But then like they're kind of like making their own, like this happened after that.
Well, I mean, we know at the end of '78 that he got up. So right. I mean, he still was out there somewhere.
That's what, and it ends with him looking at his house, and then here it is. They find him at his house. You know, the film starts with the flashbacks start with them finding him at his house. But yeah, I really liked the whole, like, there's this thing in this movie where they keep bringing up, God, it's brought up probably 7 times, where all Michael used to do when he was a kid before he killed his sister was stand in Judith's bedroom window and stare out into the street, and no one ever knew what he was looking at. And it's like,
yeah, the cop he kills is the first time you hear the story.
Yeah.
The cop in '78, Hawkins kills him technically, but he says that his mom used to make him go play with Michael because he was like a weird kid and like didn't talk to anybody.
Yep.
And that's where the first time. And it's funny because I noticed that watching it now. I'm like, they mention it at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, you know, do you feel that that's explained at the end? Like, because the one, you know, it said, like, is he looking at his own reflection, or what is he looking into the street?
They said maybe he's not looking out, maybe he's looking in and just staring at his own reflection.
Yeah, and so that possibly, I mean, that could be the ending, but I'm not sure because, you know, his reflection is in the window at the end, so that kind of made me wonder. So without getting to did I get too far ahead? I mean, we don't have to talk about the death yet, but let's talk about the window scene real quick. What's your opinion on that? Like, because it does, like, the camera shows his reflection. So you're like, are we looking at his reflection, or is he looking at his reflection? Is that what he's looking at, or isn't it? Like, it's kind of in the air now. Like, is he staring at himself? Or is he just looking out the window? Like, is there something he's staring at that we're not seeing?
Like, I've always supported with Halloween, less is more. I don't want to know.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's creepy. Like, the whole thing is when you say,
why is he doing it? I don't know.
Exactly. When you say, like, you know, he's standing in he does is stand in his sister's bedroom and stare out her window, my first thought is, ooh, why? Yeah. So to not answer that keeps the ooh, why in place. You know what I mean?
Speaking about his sister, dude, the gay couple who we love, also they're stoners.
Yeah.
Dude, when these kids come by and steal the candy and they scare the kids with the story of Michael, he stabbed his sister in the tits, and the kid's like ew. But anyway, with the whole windows, I was going to say stuff you said they added to the mythology, and I was going to say there's even stuff they took away, like how they took away the whole brother-sister aspect in the last one.
Yeah.
In this one, everybody keeps saying, oh, he's coming for Lori. Well, Karen's the one that's really preaching. He's coming for Lori. He's going to come to the hospital. He's going to come to the hospital.
Yep.
And they took away that, no, Lori isn't his obsession. Because you think about it, and then it's brilliantly pointed out that in 2018, you know it happened, but you didn't necessarily think about it in that way, that The only reason Michael and Lori ended up together is Sartain took him there.
Yeah, he wasn't actually even out for Lori, like like we
After
thought.
he left
exactly.
Lori's, he starts, like they said, it's with his house. He starts heading back.
Yeah,
Lonnie Elam points out, if you look at the kills, it's a straight line back to his house.
Yep.
And that's what he did in 78. They established it in that. After everything that night, he went back to his house.
Yep, exactly. And he always goes back home the night he came home. And let's talk about the big kill now. Let's talk about the final kill.
Well, okay. First, they beat the dog shit out of him.
Yeah.
And the one person I wanted to die, Lonnie's kid, I said going in, I said, somebody wants to die. I want that little asshole to die.
Yeah.
Well, he fucks him up bad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then the best is you think maybe he's going to survive because Allison's drawing him away. And he starts coming towards her, then just snaps his neck real quick. And then my question is, I want to ask you this, is because she's saying, do it. And then you see her look to the side to where her mom is and goes, do it. Do you think that was the plan all along? Or do you think that Karen just showed up?
Well, yeah, I think Karen had to have just shown up and that Allison probably saw her.
I was because
you got to think that they were with they were with
Lonnie.
They were with Lonnie. It was Lonnie, Cameron, and Allison in the car. And Karen and Tommy Doyle were in a totally different vehicle at another point in time. So I think that she showed up just in time. I think that was a saved by the bell moment. Cameron dies. I thought that he gets his head shoved through like the stair railing. I thought he was going to high tension him. I thought it was going to be a decapitation scene. And instead, Michael just fucking draws it out and just tortures this fucking kid.
Yeah, because then Allison starts drawing his attention away and he starts walking down the steps and you're like, oh, he's maybe Cameron's got a chance, and then he just snaps his neck real quick.
He Linda Blaired him.
But they beat the shit out of him because then Karen shows up. She curb stomps him American History X style after she stabs him with a pitchfork in the back, and then takes his mask and lures him into a trap where they all beat the shit out of him. And then Tommy tells Karen to go back with Allison, that they'll finish taking care of Michael. And then Michael just fucking, again, I'll make it Tyson Fury. He just popped back into consciousness and just fucked everybody up. And it's, at first you go, how's he going to kill all these people? But then he took them by surprise. The only guy with a gun, it jammed and people were dispersing. And Brackett's the first one to go. Brackett's gone. Tommy's gone. Yo, tell me it wasn't fucked up that Tommy got his head bashed in with the baseball bat he took from the bar.
Well, that's what he gets for trying to silver bullet Michael. Trying to hit him with that peacemaker.
But I told Nicole, she didn't even see it coming, and rewatching, I'm like, it should have made sense. I should have seen it coming. But Karen goes back to the Myers house. She's standing in Judith's room in the same spot, and then Michael pops out and fucking murks her.
But the way that it's done is it's done in such a great way because Michael gets he gets the shit beat out of him for moments, and he gets shot several times. He gets hit with everything. Point out, Karen even stabs him at the fucking base of his right at
neck.
The neck. Yeah, right at the base of his neck with a fucking butcher knife.
Even when he was getting fucked up, like I told Nicole, and she's like, "Yeah, it's what you get for getting too close." He still fucking sliced somebody when he's getting beat up by dozen people.
Yeah, and so Karen stabs him right at the base of the neck, and she's right as by all intents and purposes he should be dead, and he's not. And the way that it's done is it's Laurie Strode's in the hospital and she's talking to Hawkins and she's saying, basically they're back and forthing with, if only people knew what we knew now, we know that,
Dude, that played out
the more
so
that
good.
he kills, the more he transcends, the more evil he becomes. And so after you think it's over and you think he's dead, you have this narration of Laurie talking to Hawkins about how pure blunt trauma, blunt force trauma, there we go, blunt force trauma and all that isn't going to be able to stop him, and that he's nothing can basically stop him if he survives tonight. who knows if he'll ever be stopped. And he basically gets up. You know, you realize, he's done nothing but kill the whole movie. And so he's transcended into an even more evil, where he literally wakes up and then just fucking butchers the entire, like, mob that the town had gathered that just beat the shit out of him and killed him. He just gets up and just kills them with ease, and then fucking goes back home supernaturally doing the shape thing. But let's put it this way: while he's getting up and recovering somehow, and starts fucking killing everybody, Karen and Allison and everybody are back at the Myers house. They're already back there, getting checked out by the doctors and the paramedics and the cops and all that stuff. Meanwhile, Michael is getting up and just butchers everybody that fucking just fucked with him. And then Laurie goes into this thing about how you can't close your eyes and pretend that Michael's never there, or that he's not there, because he is. And then literally Karen goes upstairs, goes in Laurie's room, looks out the window, closes her eyes, opens them, and Michael's there. And he's really there. It's not some jump scare. He's really there. And he kills the shit out of her. And that was, to me, like a holy shit moment, because it's like they were already in the house. And this, like, he literally just got up a few minutes ago. How the hell did he get back to his house upstairs when everybody and the cops and everybody's there? And that was just a total shape moment. Just bam, just appearing. That's what Michael does. And just to see him just come out of nowhere again was just like, fuck yes. Like even in the flashback sequence in the beginning of the movie, when Hawkins is shooting at him, he just walks. And when Hawkins goes to see where Michael walked to, it's just like a fence in a backyard and there's nothing there. And it's like, where'd he go? And so I love that the whole, like, the shape thing is back, the disappearing and appearing. That shit really got me. And I gotta say though that I feel that killing Judy Greer was the right choice, because all she did was hold Laurie and Allison back from kicking ass.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, there was more to the Laurie quote, but it's kind of funny watching it this time. I'm like, it takes a parallel to what's happening outside too.
Yeah.
Where she's saying, if we only knew if we only knew then what we know now, and it applies to them. Like, they wouldn't have told everybody to leave.
Correct.
And the other one is, she says, if he survives tonight, she was like, who knows when he'll show up again? Maybe it'll be tomorrow, maybe it'll be next Halloween, but whenever somebody's alone, he'll be there. And that's when all the cops and the paramedics are starting to leave the Myers house. That's when Michael pops up and kills her. Yeah,
and yeah, like I feel that it was also, well, I think it was the right choice, but I do feel that it was also the safe choice, which is kind of weak. I feel that, like, they should have gone bigger. I think Allison or Laurie would have been a way bigger death at the end of that movie. Because I don't feel that a lot of people cared for Karen. She was kind of a snobby, bitch towards Laurie in the original. She was kind of the same way. Like, her husband's dead, and she didn't even shed a tear. Like, Allison's in the hospital crying like Dad's dead, and she doesn't. Did. Well, I mean, like, in this movie she didn't. Like, did she about the husband dying?
Yeah, because she locks herself in the. She starts washing her hand with the blood, and you, like, see her ring, and she's, like, washing that. And then she, like, turns the blinds.
No, that's Allison. I'm saying Karen. Karen doesn't.
Yeah, that was Karen.
Was it Karen was the one that was washing her hands? I thought that was Allison.
Yeah, because she had like the engagement ring and wedding band.
Oh my god! Yeah, you're right. The ring on the finger. Yep.
Yeah,
I got my
she cleans and then she puts it.
Okay.
in.
Okay.
But that
okay.
is the only.
Okay.
She just cries real quick.
Yeah.
And then just tells Allison very nonchalantly, "Dad's gone."
Yeah, and I just I don't feel that the death was as poignant as they wanted it to be. I feel that was supposed to be like, oh, holy shit, and it was, because she is like one of the main players. The man had
peanut butter on his penis.
But yeah, I don't feel that her death was as poignant as they were hoping it was.
I mean, it still shocked the shit out of me. I didn't think she was going to die. I figured all three Strode women would survive.
She's one of the three main stars of this trilogy, or was, but of the three to go, she was the obvious choice, and I think it would have been better to go with a risk. A risk versus reward, because I feel that it would have been a bigger reward, actually. If Allison died, that would have been like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. Karen died, and it's kind of like, yeah, I don't really see where her character was going. I kind of feel, it's just like killing someone off on a TV show. Like, what's the point of she kind of lost a purpose now. You know what I mean? Like, Allison's becoming a little ass kicker. She's standing up to Michael. She pieced him like, fuck. She's gonna stab him like 3 times, 4. She didn't even hesitate. It's almost as if, like, and I was like, I wonder if they're gonna go like a Halloween 4 route, and maybe she has it in her blood. I don't know, because she picked up that knife easily and came at him real easily. Like, she didn't
I mean,
hesitate.
she did have experience earlier in the night.
And she just fucking was just jabbing him with that knife. But yeah, I feel that her death or Laurie's death would have been like a oh my god. And with Karen's, it is like a oh my god, but it's not like a oh my god. It's like a oh shit, they killed her. But at the end of the day, she's the one you'd want to go. So I think going the other way would have been the way to go, because you want to be mad. You want to be, I can't believe they did that. Now you want to see the other one. Whereas you killed the person, you kind of, that's the one, that was the weak one anyway.
And with Halloween Ends next year, I feel like that'll help us almost kind of give more of a rating to this movie once that one comes out. Because I feel like it ends on a lot of questions, like you and I both said, like, where does it go from here?
Yeah.
Is it going to go the H2O route where she chops his head off again? Like, it kind of, I don't, like...
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what are they going to do? Because, I mean, they beat the dog shit out of him and, like, shot him a bunch of times, fucking stabbed him in the back of the neck, and then 2 minutes later, he popped up and killed 8 people.
Right, well, that's what, in that whole scene, like we were talking about where Laurie narrates, she said that the more he kills, the more he transcends into something that's even more unstoppable. And that's kind of...
But I want to know, how the hell she know that?
I don't know, maybe she feels it in her bones. I don't know, but she's, Laurie Strode's narrating, saying, that the more he kills, the more he transcends into pure evil and being an unstoppable, killing force, basically. And when you think about it, that's true, because we were just talking about, all these things that get done to Michael. And when you think about it, like, everything dies with fire. Whenever you, like, that's the answer to anything. Whenever you want to kill something, if you can't kill it, fire. Well, Michael fucking survived fire. So in regards to, like, the next Halloween movie, like, and with him being, like, an even more unstoppable evil force than he was before, he's already literally survived fire and just about everything but a decapitation. So unless there's a decapitation, I can't honestly think of what's going to kill him. I mean, are they, like, tie some Jason, they could do a Friday the 13th part 6,
God damn, I was waiting for you to stop talking. I was going to jump in with that.
Just drop a rock on the ocean in the bottom of the lake with a fucking chain and
But then I was like, yo, like, you know how, like, World War I, they got trench foot and their skin started peeling off. Like, would that come back and then you just got skeleton Michael you got to deal with?
I mean, he probably would, like, cut his own leg off and then just crawl back. But yeah, ball and chain him to the freaking bottom of the lake. But yeah, if he's even more unstoppable in this next one, which is even harder to believe. Ooh. It's hard to believe. Imagine how brutal this next film's going to be after what we just saw. If he's more mad than, like, yeah.
Look, Terminator 2 style. Cryogenically freeze him.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done talking about Halloween Kills.
I think that'll about cover it. I mean, I think that's everything. We did not plan to go on for this long, but it's Halloween, so I mean, we always got a lot of shit to say about anything Halloween.
Yeah, guys, this ended up being a blunt-sized episode, not a roach-sized episode, but we thank you all for listening. And
a bunch of little roaches that made up a big blunt.
He has a roach blunt.
I think it was better quality than a roach blunt.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. But I mean, yeah. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and please, email us, write us, drop, comments. Let us know if you agree with what we say. If you don't, let us know your thoughts. We love hearing your opinions. This is a big movie. Everybody's going to be talking about it. Share your thoughts.
Yeah, I can't wait for Halloween Ends. I mean, until they decide, we haven't done a Halloween movie in a while, and they reboot the franchise again,
and give us like a 7th timeline to follow.
Yeah, but
not 7th, I'm just being a dick, but
I think it would be the 6th, actually. Yeah, 6th.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, well, that'll about wrap her up. Catch you later.